Did you know in Fairbanks, Alaska, it's illegal to serve alcohol to a moose? Yeah, actual law. And you know in South Dakota, it's illegal to fall asleep in a cheese factory. And in Memphis, Tennessee, if you order a slice of pie at a restaurant, you have to eat it there. It's illegal by their law to take it out. Now, my name is Brandon Turner, host of the BiggerPockets podcast, and these laws are kind of silly, right? But a lot of laws are there to help us. They actually protect us from things, like don't murder somebody, don't drive drunk, right? Wear your seatbelt. Some laws are good, some laws are bad. Now, there's another type of law I want to talk about today, and that's laws of human nature. These are observable things that we can see in society that work almost all the time. For example, Pareto's principle that says 80% of what you get comes from 20% of what you put into something. The 80-20 rule, you probably heard it. Those are laws of human nature. Now, there are actually a bunch of laws of human nature that can make you wealthy, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. The 6 laws that will make you wealthy. Now, if you like this video as I'm going through these 6 laws, do me a favor and just give me that thumbs up below the video. Lets the internet know this is a good video, and be sure to subscribe to our channel here. Without further ado, let's get to the 6 laws that will make you rich. Rule number 1, it is more important that you decide than what you decide. In other words, people go through their entire life wanting to do great things, wanting to be wealthier, wanting to start a business, wanting to lose weight, but they never really decide exactly what the best thing for them is. You know, I oftentimes use the analogy of people are often thinking that riches or wealth or business or whatever is like going to a beach with a shovel or with a metal detector, and you're out there just looking around trying to find this hidden gold. Something that's there, your purpose, your destiny. But I don't think that's it at all. I think you hold that gold in your hand on that beach and you can bury it wherever you want to. In fact, it's less like a beach and more like a blank canvas. You can do what you want. So therefore, it's more important that you decide than what you decide. For example, if you wanted to become wealthy through real estate investing, which is exactly what I have spent the last 12, 13 years of my life doing, is building my wealth through real estate, great. You can do that. There are examples of millions of people out there who have become millionaires through real estate investing. But you know what? If you hate real estate and you don't want to do that at all and you would rather go start a Tupperware company, I don't know. Like, there are examples of millionaires who have done that. Maybe you want to clean pools for a living and you like the idea of building a pool cleaning business. Or maybe you just want to keep your job forever, not to be an entrepreneur, and you want to just save money. Great, that's fine too. You can become a millionaire that way. So it's more important that you decide what you're going to do so you can start taking appropriate action than what you decide. Rule number 2, take daily, consistent action. Now, have you ever tried to read a book? Hopefully. How long does it take to read a typical book? If you're going to read down like a John Grisham novel, I mean, it's like 400 pages. How long does that typically take a person? 2, 3, 4 weeks maybe? But in reality, it doesn't take that long to read a book. It's actually maybe 6 or 7 hours. The reason that it feels like it takes so long is because we only read for a few minutes here, a few minutes there. We maybe put it down for a week. I mean, there's books that I'm reading right now that I've been reading for the past year, right? Does it really take me a year to read a book? No, it's because we fill our life with a lot of dead space. In other words, the time in between taking action on things. And so if you want to be successful at really anything in life, just minimize that dead space. And how do you do that? By identifying what your most important next step is in any particular project. For example, right now in my business, I'm doing a couple different things, but one of them is a flipping business here on the island of Maui. And so I'm flipping houses. What is my most important next step? MINS. What is my most important next step right now? Well, if I really think about it, I need to pick up the phone and call my partner, Greg, and talk to him about a certain project that we're working on that's, we're trying to close. That's it. It's a 5-minute conversation. But you know what? I'm doing this right now on this camera. I've not thought about that for like 3 or 4 days. It's a 5-minute conversation that I've added 4 days of dead space in there just because I haven't identified what is that most important next tangible little tiny step that I need to do. So now that I've identified it, now I can put it on my calendar and make sure I do it. Another rule that I follow in the same vein, so we're not going on to a new law, but another piece of this is never let 2 days go by without doing something towards your goal. In other words, let's say I'm trying to work out and lose weight, which I do. I'm trying to work out. I never go more than 2 days without a workout, which means if I didn't work out yesterday, I have to work out today. That way I'm consistent. I don't want a month to go in between or 2 months. So never let 2 days in a row go without accomplishing some work. That's how you make sure you work consistently. That daily consistent action matters. Law number 3, practice continual improvement. Most people in the world, they get fairly good at something and then they stop there forever. In fact, let me tell you a true story. So in high school, I learned to play guitar. All right, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I learned because I knew that, other teenage girls loved guitar playing guys. So I learned how to play guitar, but I didn't learn enough to become an expert. I learned just enough to make other people think that I knew what I was doing. And so I could play some chords and I could do okay. I mean, I even played at on a church worship team, right? But at the end of the day, I never got better. Why? I played every single week. I mean, I've played pretty much every week for the past 15 years, but I'm no better today than I was 15 years ago. Why? Because I didn't practice continual improvement. I never worked on my scales. I never tried new songs. I never did anything special. So I just stayed where I was at. So that's why law number 3 is to continually improve. How do you get better and better all the time? Now, there's 2 ways to do this that I recommend. Number 1 is continual education. To go back to the guitar analogy, I never continued learning. But with other things in my life, for example, I'm trying to grow a mobile home park investing business right now. I'm always learning, listening to podcasts, talking with other investors, reading books on the topic. So continual education. But then secondly, it's self-reflection. Right? You learn and you do, and then you reflect what worked, what didn't work, and how can I make sure that it works better next time. That's really how you grow. It's that cycle of doing and then learning and then applying what you learn to do it again better next time. That's how you continually improve. And if you just continually improve every single day, every week, every month, every year, you're gonna do amazing things. In fact, think about it. If your year ago self looks a lot like your today's self, it means that you're not continually improving. And if you want to succeed in life at pretty much anything, continual improvement is a law. Rule number 4, you got to raise your thermostat. Now, I'm not talking about your thermostat in your house, but it is similar. So you know how a thermostat works, right? When you're at a certain temperature, for example, I set my thermostat at 72 degrees. When it gets warmer than 72 degrees, my air conditioning kicks on and lowers the temperature back to 72. Now, if it goes under 72 and goes down to, 68, the heat kicks on and brings it back up to 72. So a thermostat's designed to keep you at this equilibrium. The same thing is true for areas of success in our life, and that includes wealth building. So in other words, right now in your head, there is a level of wealth that your internal thermostat is set at. Now maybe that's earning $50,000 a year. Maybe it's earning $200,000 a year. Maybe it's earning $1 million a year or $12 an hour. There's something in your head that's set internally that when you earn more than that, you ease off the gas a little, you slow down, you don't hustle as hard. And when you get way less than that, you put on the gas and you hustle harder and you make that extra income. That's why for most people, their income from year to year to year doesn't change very much. In fact, if you were to take somebody who earned $250,000 a year, get rid of their job entirely, have them go broke, they'd probably be earning $250,000 a year within a year because their thermostat is set there. They look for opportunities that help them get back there. So if you want to increase your wealth building opportunities, you've got to increase your thermostat. Now, how do you do that? By surrounding yourself with people who have a higher thermostat. So some people naturally have a thermostat set at making $1 million a year. That's a lot of money, right? Unless you're somebody who makes $10 million a year, then that would be a really low amount. You wouldn't want to necessarily spend all your time with those people. That's why you should spend more time focused on surrounding yourself with people who are at where you are going to be, rather than surrounding yourself with people where you were. Law number 5, resist lifestyle creep. Now, if you want to build wealth in life, there's this thing called lifestyle creep. And let me explain it in a story. So I was out to dinner with a friend of mine a while back, and we were sitting at a nice restaurant, a nice steak house, and this friend was complaining to me a little bit about how he's living paycheck to paycheck, never has any money to invest, etc. Now, this friend also admitted that he makes close to $500,000 every single year. Now, how is it somebody who makes $500,000 a year is living paycheck to paycheck? And he says to me, he just doesn't know. He's like, I'm not extravagant. I don't have a jet. I'm not doing anything crazy. And then while he's talking, the waiter comes by and he orders a $400 bottle of wine without even thinking about it. Because he's lived this life where a $400 bottle of wine is the norm. In other words, his lifestyle has creeped up to the point where that's normal. Now, you're probably laughing right now saying, I would never be like that, but think about it. Right now in your life, are you spending money on things that you didn't spend when you were in college or in high school? I know when I got out of college, my wife and I got married, and we traveled around the country in our little Prius, our used Prius, that was a salvage title, and we lived in this little Prius while we traveled the country for 6 weeks. We slept in our car because that was fun, and that's what we did, and it was cheap, and we didn't have any money. Now today when we go places, we stay at nice hotels, Hilton's or Marriott's, right? And later on, we may someday go and stay at a Four Seasons, right? Our lifestyle creeps, and it happens to everybody. Now, is it wrong? No. But if you want to build wealth, you cannot let as your income climbs throughout your life, your lifestyle to creep up to match that. Because then you will always be making exactly what you spend. Your paycheck to paycheck never goes away. And so if you want to get out of the paycheck to paycheck mentality and build actual wealth, you've got to stop the lifestyle creep. That means actually living on a budget. That means taking money from your paycheck immediately, or however you make money if you're an entrepreneur, and before you even get access to it, before it goes into your checking account, it goes into a savings account or an investment account automatically. That way you don't have to rely on your own willpower, which we all know doesn't really work that well, to save money. Instead, you make it automatic. But you've got to avoid the lifestyle creep. All right, moving on to the last law of growing wealth in this world today. Law number 6. You've got to do 20 in 10. And here's what I mean by that. A few months ago, I interviewed a friend of mine named David Osborne, who's the New York Times bestselling author of Wealth Can't Wait and a new book he wrote called Tribe of Millionaires. And David is one of the most wealthy, generous, happy people that I know. And I asked him in this interview, how do you do it? Like, how do you grow that big of wealth and become that successful? And he said, you got to do 20 and 10. He said, I don't know any other way. And I said, what do you mean by that? And he said, 20 and 10 means you got to do 20 years of work in 10 years if you want to get wealthy early or get wealthy young, get wealthy quick. In other words, you got to put in the hours. You got to put in the work. And it's not always easy. It's sometimes long hours. Now, there's a lot of this Instagram culture out there of people, sitting on a beach, driving their Lamborghinis while money just pours in their pocket. But let me just tell you, that's not the way it works. I mean, I live in Hawaii, in Maui, but I still work a ton of hours. And I worked the last 10 years of my life, really 15 years of my life, doing 30 and 15. So now I get to experience some of the fruits of my labor in an increased lifestyle today. But it didn't come easy. It came after a lot of late nights where my wife and I would be painting a rental property at 2 in the morning because we had to get it rented out at 7 the next morning. We have a tenant coming to move in. That's a normal thing for many, many, many years for me. And it's going to be a normal thing for you. No matter what business or what entrepreneurship or what avenue you go towards building wealth, you're going to have to do 20 and 10. So don't let anybody convince you otherwise. It doesn't come naturally. You're not going to win the lottery. Wealth doesn't just happen. When you hear those cases where people just get rich really, really quickly, those are the exception, not the rule. Sure, you can hope for them, but plan to do 20 and 10. And those are the 6 laws of building wealth. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave that thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel, leave a comment below, and come follow us over on Instagram at BiggerPockets, or you can follow me personally at BeardyBrandon, beard with a Y. For BiggerPockets.com, my name is Brandon Turner, signing off.